Good morning. Oh, I always do. Good afternoon, Akwaaba. It's definitely 12:30 in the afternoon, not the morning. Welcome to 52 weeks, D-Man, and blessings to the family. And walk and talk with Queen P. Hope you're getting in your nutrients and your amino acids. You've been doing some epic walking, epic steps this past week. But yeah, my name is Mark, and this is Akwaaba Yoga, our Sunday flow, 45-minute flow we're doing today. I believe it will be largely regulars. So if you're watching this on playback, we will be trying to keep the pace to flow up. I'll be adding in a couple of different new elements of flow, so it won't be maybe a sequence that we've done before, but I'll be definitely looking to see if we can move together as one. And again, just really focus on breathing and keeping our movement in tune with our breath. Howdy, B. I think we missed you last week. Well done to the She's Got Skills team. I think we missed Kate last week as well. You had an epic tournament down in Shoreditch. Yeah, so look, it's great. It's great when you guys can join us on the mats. It's also great to see what you guys are up to during the week. Whether it's anything or nothing, Sunday we come together and we flow together. Sound a bit like Will Smith and Bad Boy. Anyway, let's jump on the mat. Let's jump on the mat. We are gonna get cracking. This is the first time as well my Akwaaba Yoga branded mat. I'm really pleased and proud to have this. It took a while to come, but there's a massive difference I've noticed in the grip quality compared to the one it was great. It was my original mat from 10 years ago. But yeah, looking forward to getting stuck in. We're going to start in a seated position. So you can come onto your knees, come to your legs crossed, and we're going to just come into our breath before we kick off. If it's the first time you're practicing with us today, or you're watching on playback, we're going to come to child's pose shortly, and always feel free to take child's pose or any sort of resting pose if your mind is working, or you just need to set out one of the asanas, one of the postures. But let's come to the seated position. We're going to close the eyes. Really focus on lengthening up from your lower back, from your glutes, from your lower back. Roll your shoulders back, so puff out your chest. Feel as if someone's pulling a string through the top of your head, so you're nice and long in the neck. Just find yourself arriving, find yourself maybe still in your natural breath, such as a gentle inhale and exhale, whether it's through the nose or the mouth. I watched an interesting video during the week from an excellent yoga teacher, Celeste. I'll share on Instagram during the week. It spoke about breathing through the nose and the benefits of doing so. So we're going to start to come into our Ujjayi breath. So it's in and out through the nose. So on the inhale, take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, as you did last week, you've got a slight restriction in the throat. And we're exhaling out through the nose. So we just tilt the head down, come into a throat lock. Also known as a Jalandhara Bandha. So you're creating a whisper-like sound, that oceanic breath. And this is Ujjayi breathing, which we're going to use to flow through today's practice. Feel the air come into your lungs, into your belly. And as you exhale out, draw your navel to your spine to release the breath back through the nose. Start to blink open the eyes. We're going to come into some shoulder stretches and some stretches to our lats before we kick off. So on the inhale, just take our arms up towards the ceiling, take our gaze into our hands. Let's take the left wrist with our right hand. Again, on the inhale, lengthen up through the arms. On the exhale, taking a slight bend over towards the right side. As we're bending, try and use your right hand to really lengthen that through that left arm, and you're going up and over to really come into a side stretch for the left side of the body. You're not just collapsing to your right side. Still nice and tall the torso. On each inhale, you're lengthening up through that left arm. On the exhale, you're slightly softening. On the next breath, let's bring the arms back to the center. Drop the arms down, shake them out. Let's go again. Inhale. Take your arms up. On the exhale, take the left hand to the right wrist. On the inhale, lengthen up through the arms. Exhale, take a slight bend over towards the left side. This time we're coming to a stretch through the right side of the body. You're not going too deep, but again, you're using that left hand over the right wrist to create that length for the side of the body. Bringing a nice stretch through your intercostal muscles, the muscles in between the ribs on the right side. On the next inhale, come back towards center, take a gaze between the hands again, and then let the arms fold down. On the next breath, we're going to take our hands as an interlace behind our backs. I'm going to turn just so you can see me. So we're taking our hands into interlace behind our backs. We're going to lengthen that through the arms on the inhale. Roll the shoulders back. Maybe take a gaze up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, just start to bend from the hips. You don't have to go too deep here. If you've got the space to lift the hands up off the lower back, then go for it. Just start to drop the head towards the mat. You want to keep your buttocks, your bum on the floor. You're not coming up too far. Just creating openness through the front of the chest here. Don't forget your breath. You're not holding your breath here. On the next inhale, let's come back up towards the seated position. Inhale to lengthen the arms back up again. And on the exhale, take the interlace of the hands again behind the back of the head. So it's just behind the back of the skull. On the inhale, going to shine the chest up towards the ceiling. Drawing your shoulder blades together. And on the exhale, again, start to lengthen up through the back of the head. You bring your chin to your chest. We're drawing our elbows together. And just use the resistance of the hands around the back of the skull to, again, come into a stretch into the back of the neck. So again, rather than collapsing and forcing the head down, try and sit nice and tall through the spine. Just use that resistance to run a stretch in the back of the neck. On the next inhale, we're coming into cactus arms. So the arms are coming into a 45-degree angle. Shine your chest up towards the ceiling. Again, drawing the shoulders together. Take 3 breaths here. So in and out through the nose. One more breath. And wherever you are, let's drop the arms down to the side. We're going to come into all fours. So we're going to come into our tabletop. So move any blocks or obstacles out of the way. The hands are stacked underneath our shoulders, knees underneath our hips, toes uncurled. We're going to come into a couple of cat and cow. So on the inhale, belly goes down, tailbone goes up. We're taking our gaze to the front diagonal. And on the exhale, press our hands into the mat. Take our gaze to our navel. Let's go again. Inhale to look up. Roll the shoulders back. Tailbone goes high. Exhale, draw the belly to the spine. As you come into a rounded back, a rounded upper back. Let's go for one more. Inhale to look up. Exhale to come to angry cat. Find a space in between shoulder blades. On the next breath, let's come back into a neutral. So we'll meet back into our neutral tabletop. And curl the toes under, and the back on the mat. So we're high on the toes. I'm just going to rock forwards and back, just to come into a gentle wrist stretch. So you're just going forwards and back. Your shoulders will go beyond your wrists, just to the point of where you can feel the stretch in the back of the wrists. So inhale to go forwards, exhale to come back. Let's go for one more. Inhale to go forwards, exhale to come back. I'm going to uncurl the toes. Place the right hand into the center on the mat. And let's just come into a few shoulder rolls. So lift up that left arm off the mat. First, winding it up, taking or finding complete space, as much space as we need to in the shoulders. So go forwards and back, maybe follow your hand as you're going back, and in reverse, start to take it forwards into that front crawl motion. Really exploring the full range of motion here in the shoulders. And on the last one, bring the left hand down to the mat. So let's just take the opposite side. So this time the left hand goes in towards the center. And we'll lift that right arm off the mat. And just start to swim it back for another 2. Follow the breath, another 1. And let's reverse it. Come to that front call. Again, if you want to come into the neck, you're just following your right hand with the gaze as you're winding up through the neck. On the last one, let's place the hands back down at the front of the mat. I'm going to curl the toes under. Actually, let's uncurl the toes. Your knees are apart. Place your feet together. Let's just come into child's pose before we start. So anyone who hasn't practiced before, if you have practiced, child's pose is our resting pose. So you're aiming to just drop your forehead as close as you can to the mat. Release any gripping, any hunching in the shoulders. Let your hands be soft. Just close your eyes. Just for a couple more breaths. If you lost the ujjayi you're breathing, just regain it here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. On the next inhale, I'm going to spring up into our tabletop. We're going to curl the toes under, press our hands into the mat, lift the knees up as we come into our first downward facing dog. So we're taking that inverted V shape, pressing our hands into the mat. The gaze goes to the back of the mat, maybe in between the legs. Maybe walk out the legs, particularly if you've been running this morning. Let's work into the calves. This together, just come into stillness. So pressing our hands into the mat, our tailbone is going high towards the ceiling, and you're energetically drawing your heels as close to the mat as you can. They don't have to touch. On the next inhale, come behind the toes, and let's jump or step forward, and let's meet in our Uttanasana, forward fold, at the front of the mat. Just sway the body. Everything's loose, everything's heavy. We're just swaying from side to side. Maybe take a gentle bend in the knees. You're surrendering your torso here, your upper body. And slowly start to sway the body up. So we're coming one vertebra at a time. Oh. Just feel the torso nice and relaxed. It's together. Let's all meet, standing at the front of our mats. We're going to roll the shoulders back. Place the palms forward. We're tall through the spine as we meet in a mountain pose, or Tadasana. If you've lost the breath, again, come back into Ujjayi. Deep inhale in. And exhale through the nose. Enjoy the practice. On the inhale, taking our hands up to the ceiling. On the exhale, bend from the hips, taking a prayer through the chest as we come down for our forward fold. On the inhale, halfway lift, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, place the hands at the front of the mat, step the left foot back and the right to join the left as we meet in our high plank. Going to walk forwards and back on the toes. And on the next rock forward, so the first one together, let's all drop into our knees. Taking a modified low plank, uncurl the toes, bend into the elbows for a low plank. We'll come into cobra, so keep the hands where they are. We don't need to lengthen out through the arms here. Just a gentle push up, so you still got a bend in the elbows. Tuck the elbows in towards the ribs for cobra. And on the exhale, let's bring the body back down. Let's go for one more cobra. So on the inhale, hands into shoulders, pressing our hands into the mat. Elbows are still at a bend. And on the exhale, we're coming back down. Let's come to another cobra. If you're ready to come into an upward facing dog, we're going to press our hands to the mat and lengthen out through the arms. Again, the elbows are still tucked into our ribs. And on the exhale, curl the toes under as together we meet in our downward facing dog. We're going to come into a couple more sun salutations. So remember to connect the breath to our movement here. So we're going to just call it out and move as one. Just try and keep up or go as you go to your pace. Just follow your breath. So on the inhale, let's come high on our toes. Exhale, going to step forwards. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, roll the shoulders back. Exhale to soften into our forward fold. Inhale, bend into the knees, take the arms out towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands to prayer to the center of the chest. Inhale, prayer goes high. Exhale, bend from the hips. Come to our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, hands in front of the mat, high plank. Even knees down. We'll start to bend into elbows for a low plank. Push up into a cobra or upward facing dog on an inhale. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, curl the toes under. And together we meet in our downward facing dog. Take one more breath in. And exhale out. Inhale to come high on the toes. And on the exhale, jump or step forwards. Together we all meet at the front of our mat. Inhale to come to a halfway lift. Lengthen that through the back of the neck. Exhale to release into our Uttanasana. Inhale, bend into the knees. Let's take the prayer up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands in prayer towards the center of our chest. Inhale, high the arms. Exhale, bend from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down. Step the left foot back and the right foot to join the left. On the inhale, rock forwards. Again, drop the knees for modification. Otherwise, on exhale, come into a low plank. Press through the toes. Inhale to come up to a cobra or upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, curl the toes under. And together we meet in our downward facing dog. Inhale in. Exhale out. Inhale to come high on the toes. Jump or step. And let's meet at the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to soften to release down to a forward fold. Inhale, bend into the knees. Let's shoot up and go high with the arms. Exhale, hands into prayer towards the center of our chest. Inhale to go nice and tall, the arms. Exhale, bend from the hips as we come down for Uttanasana. Inhale to go into our halfway lift. Exhale, place our hands in front of the mat. Step the left foot back and the right to join the left as we meet in our high plank. Inhale to what falls on the toes. Your knees down or bend into the elbows for a low plank. Press through the toes for a cobra or upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, curl the toes under. Press our hands into the mat as we meet in our downward facing dog. Let's together take a deep breath in and exhale out. Inhale to go high at the toes. Let's jump or step forwards and meet at the front of the mat. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend into the knees. We're going to come into chair pose. So bend into the knees, taking the bum towards the mat, taking the arms up towards the front diagonal. We're going for that anterior tilt of the pelvis. So draw the navel to the spine. See if on the exhale you can soften any more to the knees. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, let's dive forward into our Uttanasana. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend into the knees, just go high with the arms. Take the arms up towards the ceiling. The gaze goes in between the hands. Exhale. Let's take our prayer to the center of our chest. Inhale, we're going high with the hands in prayer. Taking our gaze up towards the sky. Really breathe beyond the fingers here. On the exhale, bend from the hips into our Uttanasana. Inhale to halfway lift. Rolling the shoulders back. Exhale, place the hands at the front of the mat. Let's take the left foot up. Step the left foot back towards the back of the mat. Keeping the left hand down or high on the left toes. We're going to open up the body towards the right side. So we're high on the left toes. We're going to start to lift that right arm up. Take that right arm towards the ceiling. Taking the gaze up towards the right hand. And we're twisting our body over towards the right side. We're going to take a modification here. Please do feel free to drop into that left knee. You are also coming to stretch by dropping onto that left knee. So you're down that left knee, or you're high on the back toes. On the next breath, let's place our right hand down on the outside of the right foot. We're going to jump that right foot back to join the left and meet in our high plank. So it falls into the toes, bend into the elbows for a low plank. Press through the toes as we come up into our cobra or our upward facing dog. On the exhale, take the belly to spine, curl the toes under for our downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath in together. And on the exhale, soften. Again, energetically draw your heels a bit closer towards the mat. See if you've got any more room. On the next inhale together, let's come high on our toes. We're going to jump or step forwards. And together, we're going to meet in our forward fold at the front of the mat. On the inhale, hands to shins for a halfway lift. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, soften and release as we come down to our Uttanasana. We're going to come into our chair poses again. Our feet hips apart. On the inhale, draw the belly to spine, taking our arms out towards the front diagonal. Again, trying to avoid sticking our bums out. We're going to aim to go for anterior tilt, so we're drawing our belly in and rotating our pelvis forward. Let's see if you can bend any more into the knees. Let's take another breath in. And on the exhale, folding forward into our Uttanasana. Let the torso be heavy here. The arms be heavy. On the inhale, take the hands to the shins for halfway lift. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen out through the back of the neck. On the exhale, let's come to our Uttanasana, our forward fold. On the inhale, let's bend into the knees and shoot up as we take the arms up towards the ceiling. Take the gaze up towards the sky again. Really breathe on the fingers. We're nice and tall through the body. On the exhale, taking our prayer to the center of our chest. On the inhale, arms go up in prayer. And on the exhale, going to bend from the hips as we come down to our Uttanasana. On the inhale, we're going to come to a halfway lift, hands to the shins, roll the shoulders back. On the exhale, let's place our hands at the front of the mat. This time we are going to lift that right leg up and step it back all the way towards the back of the mat. So we're high in the back toes. We're keeping a bend in that left knee and place that right hand down onto the mat. Again, if you're not quite reaching, feel free to use a block underneath that right hand. I want to start to open up the body towards the left side of the room. So on the inhale, take the left arm up towards the ceiling. Again, feel free, please, to take that modification by dropping down to that right knee. So to come more into the twist on the inhale, really draw your navel to your spine. On the exhale, see if you've got any more room to twist. Let's take one more breath. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, placing our left hand down on the outside of that left foot. We're stepping that left foot all the way back to meet the right, and together we're meeting in our high plank. On the inhale, rock forwards into the toes. On the exhale, bend into the elbows for a low plank. We're going to press through the toes. So come up for our cobra or our upward facing dog. Soften into the shoulders. Let's take our gaze up towards the front diagonal. On the exhale, press our hands to the mat. Curl the toes under. And together we meet in our downward facing dog. Together, let's take a breath in. This time, let's sigh it out through the mouth. Release any tension, any holding on the sigh. Let's go for one more. Deep breath in. And exhale through the mouth. Let's come back into our Ujjayi breathing. So inhaling through the nose. Exhale through the nose. On next inhale, let's lift high on the toes. I'm going to jump or step forwards. And together we're going to meet at the front of our mat. On the inhale, I'm going to come into a halfway lift. Hands to the shins, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, release to our Uttanasana. On the inhale, bend into the knees. Start to lengthen out through the body, taking the arms up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, let's take our prayer to the center of our chest. We're going to come into a balancing pose here, a balancing twist. On the inhale, if you fall out, because I'm sure I will, feel free to come back into the posture. On the inhale, going to lift up that left knee, so it's at a right angle, keeping a prayer in our chest if we can. And on the exhale, taking our right hand to the outside of the left knee, and taking our left arm back towards the back of the room. Sort of twisting from the lower belly here. Open up our body towards the left side of the room. I'm going to hold it here for 3 breaths. If you want to level up, feel free to take the outside of the left foot. You can lengthen out through that left foot. Take the left hand towards the back of the room. So you're long in that left leg. We'll hold it. 1 more breath here. On the next inhale, if your leg is long, let's come back and meet. So the left leg's at a right angle. On the inhale, let's take the arms up towards the ceiling. Still balancing on that strong right leg. On the exhale, take the hands into prayer. Start to tilt the body forward as we come into our warrior 3. So our torso goes forward, so it's parallel with the floor. Keep your hands in prayer or take your superhero position. Whoops. With your arms, we're taking our left leg towards the back of the room. So you're pushing your left heel towards the back of the room, curling your left toes in towards your face. And on the next breath, let's drop onto those left toes. If you've fallen out of the pose, like I have, just regain your balance. So both legs are facing forward, you're high in the back toes. On the inhale, let's take our arms up towards the ceiling. Let's meet in our high lunge. So you've got a bend in that right knee here. And you're high on the torso. Really look to engage through your core. So we're drawing our belly to our spine. Inhale to lengthen up. And on the exhale, we're taking a twist to opposite side. So we're taking the right arm back, the left arm forwards. We're here for 3 breaths. If you want to level up, feel free to start to come into a cheeky twist back bend. So taking our right hand to the back of the left thigh. We start to lift up through that left arm. Here for another 2 breaths. So you put the right arm back, left arm forwards. Coming into that cheeky twist. On the next breath, let's all meet back with our crescent lunge, our high lunge, high in the back toes. And on the exhale, start to lean the body forward. So creating a straight line for our torso, through to the back of the legs. Again, take your arms into that superhero position. It's a really strong hold in here, guys. If you feel want to take a modification, feel free to drop into that left knee. Here for another 2 breaths. Another 1. Let's, on the inhale, float the arms back up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, cartwheel the hands down. I'm going to step that right foot back. And together, we're going to meet in our high plank. Let's drop into that left knee and that left shin to get ready for side plank. I'm going to place our left hand in the center of the mat to the front. Start to drop into that right heel as we lift up through that right arm and open our body up towards the right side of the room. So you have another 3 breaths. So come back to your Ujjayi breath in case you've lost it. Again, if you want to level up for the final 2, maybe lift up off that left shin. So the right leg is stacked on top of the left leg. 1 more breath. And on the next breath, let's bring our right hand down towards the front of the mat. And together we'll meet again in our high plank. Let's rock forwards onto the toes. Let's drop the knees onto the mat. Uncurl the toes. Bend into the elbows. And bring our torso all the way down. And take our arms into superhero again. So our arms are either side of our body. And bringing our right cheek to the mat. Come into a gentle twist. Or sorry, a gentle stretch. to our neck muscles here. Just turn our face and take the other side. So just take your gaze this time over towards the left side of the room. Bring our left cheek to the mat. On the next breath, let's bring our chin to the mat. Let's take the arms back towards the front of the room. So our arms this time are in cactus. They're right angles. Want to come into a nice gentle lower back stretch. Come to a variation on locust. So on the inhale, I'm going to start to lift up through the chest. Lift the arms up off the mat, lift the chin up off the floor. We're nice and long with the neck. We don't have to gaze forward. Don't have to tilt the whole head back. And just drawing your shoulder blades together. And just taking your gaze just about a foot in front of you. Gaze through your lower belly. And on the exhale, let's place the hands underneath the shoulder blades. I'm going to draw the elbows in towards our ribs. Come up for a gentle cobra. And on the exhale, start to bring the torso down. On the inhale, let's come up into our upward facing dogs and lengthen out through the arms. And on the exhale, curl the toes under. And together, we're going to meet in our downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath in. And exhale to soften into the shoulders. And energetically just draw the heels a bit closer towards the mat. Taking our tailbone up towards the ceiling. On the inhale, come high on the toes. We're going to jump or step forwards. And together, we're going to all meet at the front of the mat. On the inhale, hands to shins. Roll the shoulders back as you come up for a halfway lift. Again, our gaze is just beyond the front of the mat. Long in the back of the neck. Exhale to release the body down for Uttanasana. On the inhale, bend into the knee. Is going to draw the arms up towards the ceiling. Taking our gaze in between our hands. And on the exhale, let's take our hands into prayer, into the center of our chest. This time we're going to be nice and strong and feel our left foot grounded onto the mat. Feel like that left leg is like a trunk, a tree trunk. It's going to give us the stability and the grounding that we need. On the inhale, if our hands and our prayer start to lift that right leg up off the mat, engage with that left quad for a bit of balance. And this time we're taking our left hand on the outside of the right thigh and taking our right arm back towards the back of the room. As we come into a gentle twist over towards the right side. Again, if you want to level up, we're here for another 2 breaths. You can take the outside of the right foot and lengthen out through the right foot or that right leg. Or you can stay with that knee bent. If your leg is out straight, start to bring it back towards the right angle. So all together, bracing shakes or wobbles. On the next inhale, taking our arms back high. And on exhale, take the hands into prayer. Start to bend that left knee as you take that right leg back. As you come to our warrior 3. So in that T position, either your hands are in prayer or take your arms into superhero pose. And on the next breath, let's drop into the right toes as we get ready for our high lunge, our crescent lunge. Either gracefully or ungracefully, just bring your legs into crescent lunge, so high on the right toes. I'm maintaining that bend in that left knee. And on inhale, we're drawing our arms up towards the ceiling, engaging through the lower belly as we draw our navel to our spine. On the inhale, we're going to lengthen up through the arms. And on the exhale, we're going to open up to the left side of the room. So the right arm goes forwards, and the left arm goes back. So feel free to drop onto the right knee here for modification. Here for another 3 breaths. If you're on a full expression here, if you're high on your back toes, start to drop. If you want to level up, that is, start to drop your left hand onto the outside of the right thigh and lifting up through that right arm. It's coming into a twist, an interesting twist. You'll maintain that bend in that left knee. If there's one more breath, together, let's come back. So open our arms up and our body to the left side. On the inhale, let's all meet once again in our crescent lunge. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, start to lean the torso forward, creating a nice line with our torso, going through the back of the right leg. Again, feel free to modify by dropping onto that right knee. We're here for one more breath. On the in, I'm going to come up one more time. Take a deep breath in. Oops. And on the exhale, cut all the hands down towards the front of the mat. Let's step the left foot back this time. Together, we're going to meet in our high plank. Let's drop into that right knee and that right shin. Place our right hand in the center of the mat. Come onto our left heel as we get ready for our modified side plank. On the inhale, start to lift up through that left arm. Taking that left arm up towards the ceiling. You can feel free to take your gaze up towards that left hand. Shine your chest open. Just play with your balance here. If you want to come to the full expression, feel nice and grounded through that right arm. Lengthen that through that right leg. Stack that left leg on top of the right. You're creating that banana shape in your body. So you feel as if someone's putting up for your left hip. Here for another 2 breaths. Another 1. And on the exhale, let's place our left hand back once again at the front of the mat. I'm going to walk forwards and back on the toes. On the next walk forwards, I'm going to drop into the knees, uncurl the toes. Start to bring the torso down towards the mat. Just resting your chins for a couple of seconds. I'm going to take our hands into an interlace. Just rest them on our lower back or on our buttocks. As we come into an interlace, we're going to take a variation on locust. As we come into a gentle stretch into the lower back. So on the inhale, start to lengthen that through the arms. Start to lift your chest up off the mat. Again, you're not straining the neck. Let your neck be nice and relaxed here. So you're taking your gaze, again, maybe just about a foot in front of you on the floor. We'll hold for another 2 breaths. Another 1. And on the exhale, slowly bring your chin back towards the chest. Let's place our hands underneath our shoulder blades. We're going to press up into Cobra. And then lengthen out the arms. Finish to come into our upward facing dog. And on the exhale, curl the toes under. And together, let's meet in our downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath in together. Really feeling through the belly. And on the exhale, sigh it out. Nice flow, guys. On the inhale, let's come high on the toes. Let's step the feet forwards towards the front of the mat and meet in our forward fold. Start to bend into the knees. Perhaps the heels lift up off the mat. And start to walk the hands back as we come into, as we start to prepare for Shavasana. So we're lying long across the back, lengthening that through both legs. Before we come into our corpse pose, on the inhale, let's take both knees into our chest. So just take an interlace, the hands in front of the knees. And just start to massage that through the lower back. Let's take it clockwise and then anti-clockwise. Come into a gentle inversion. So on the inhale, we're going to lift our legs up towards the ceiling. Feel as if you're holding the ceiling up with the soles of the feet, so the toes are curling towards the face. Ladies, if it's a bit uncomfortable for you this time of the month, feel free to maintain a bend in the knees. Just keep your knees at a right angle here. Whether your legs are higher to the ceiling or at a right angle, start to bring them down, lengthen them out in front of ourselves as we come into our Shavasana. So arms at either side of our body. Let's take a deep inhale in through the nose. And on the exhale, release to Ujjayi breath. Eyes closed, just come back into your natural breath. Feel the mat, feel the ground underneath our bodies here. Nicely supported by the floor. Stay in Shavasana for a few breaths. So you're back in your natural breath, your eyes closed. Let's go into stillness. Feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you need, for as long as you want. If you really start coming out, just find some movements in the hands and the feet. Again, just draw our knees into towards your chest as far as feels comfortable. Let's rock up. Again, we're going to meet. Just turn and face the camera, come into a seated position. I'm going to sit on a block. Come into a seated position, either come cross-legged or come onto your knees. Shake out through the head, shake out through the arms. Roll the shoulders back and forwards. And either keeping your hands on your lap or take your hands into prayer center of the chest. Just close your eyes, and even if it's for a couple of seconds, just find yourselves really here, really present. Use those 2 seconds just to thank yourself for rocking up and being present and embracing anything that might have come up during the practice, any frustrations, any joys, if there was any joys. On the next breath, maybe take your hands into prayer, center your forehead. And I say thank you. Thank you for turning up and for flowing this Sunday. Not too bad at a time. I'm getting better, 3 minutes over. But yeah, all done. Ooh. So, all done and dusted for another Sunday. As Teresa would say, from I can't remember what that Netflix show is. We move, we're done. So yeah, great to practice it for yourselves again today. Definitely keeps me disciplined by rocking up every Sunday and being here at 12:30. Hope you enjoyed that flow session a little bit different. I tried to keep the pace up. But yeah, I hope it was cool. Let me know if you want it to go any quicker or any slower. As always, give me any feedback that I can work with. And if there's any in particular, again, for next week, do feel free to give me a shout. As always, like, comment, subscribe, follow. Cool. The mats. I might have to do something about the mats. Asking for a friend. Mate, I'll see what I can do about the mats. It's been an interesting journey getting hold of this one, but a journey very worthwhile. It definitely makes my practice a lot more enjoyable. It's such a difference having a mat that really gives you that grip, and also it's just something personalized, a little present to myself after 12 months. But yeah, I'll give it some thought about ordering. All points noted, Mr. Dean and D-Man. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. I'm gonna clock off before I just over talk and convince you guys not to buy the mat because I'm talking too much. But yeah, thanks again. I'll catch you hopefully next week Sunday. If you're watching on playback, feel free to repeat the session at any point during the week. God bless and take care. Thank you. I'll keep this chat going for about another 30 seconds or so.